to a new stream of 25NL on Coin Poker. I am going to stream 4 tables. I have just started the games. I had to wait for a few minutes to get a seat, but now I have 4 tables running, and we have our first hand, King 3 suited in the big blind against a limper. So we'll actually 2 limpers, so we'll just check. We flop this gut shot, but I think I want to see what they will do before I make a decision whether to put more money into this pot. And once this limper bets big, and especially once the small blind check raises, I am definitely out with my gut shot that isn't even drawing to the nuts. And look at this guy now. So he bet and raised a raise. I'm interested to see. There is a call from the small blind. This SPR is tiny now, so I expect them to get it in on this turn. Yeah, all in and a call, and we do have a flush versus versus top pair. Wow, this is like a great table. This guy limped ace 8 off and overplayed it on ace queen X with 3 spades. So yeah, very good player to have at your table. Ace 7 off, unfortunately not a hand I can get involved with though. But yeah, let's try to get into some pots with him. Unfortunately, he's down to 29 big blinds. Didn't reload. But yeah. This could make for an interesting table. On the 2 tables at the bottom, we haven't joined yet, because I only got the seed just before I started the stream. But within the next minute or 2, we should see our first cards dealt there. And look at this, aces versus king queen. So unfortunately, this player just got stacked. Let's see, and he has also left. So that is not a good sign, unfortunately. It didn't last very long. I mean, he was never going to last very long, but it's great if you have aces against him. Although this other player with 9 deuce suited there, completing in the small blind and then flopping a flush and getting paid by top pair on a monotone board. That is what I call a good morning. Okay, I just realized my thumbnail and title say again that I'm streaming some Sunday tournaments on a Friday, which is absolutely not correct. There must have been some glitch there, which is a bit annoying. But unfortunately, I can't change it midway through the stream, so I will have to leave it as it is, and I hope you don't think I'm trying to clickbait you, because that's definitely not the case. That's just a mistake, some sort of a glitch. But yeah, I hope if you find your way here that you will be okay with me streaming 25NL. Okay, we haven't been able to play a hand yet, but hopefully soon, hopefully soon. I mean, we did play the one with King 3 suited in the big blind, where just 2 players limped to us and then folded the flop. Now we have ace deuce here, even here. Well, I think I'm gonna fold against a player who's not very big stacked. He could go either way. He makes it just two there, so I am going to call here. 8-4 off, definitely a fold. When he checks to me, I'm going to just check behind with my ace high. Here, queen 10, I would definitely have called, if not even raised, but I can't do that now after there is a 3-bet. And with my ace high, I'm just going to try to see a showdown now. Played it quite passively, but I don't think I can get him to fold now. So let's just check, and he did have a 5, okay. But it's good to know when he makes it 2x, because sometimes in the small blind, if they make it 2x, that is indicative of a strong hand, so that's why I didn't want to 3-bet pre-flop, but I probably should have done. Okay, 3-betting ace queen off, raising 5-4 off, folding jack 10 off. Yeah, so 5-4 off is not really a raise in GTO, but I think players still fold too much in the small blind and they don't 3-bet enough, although this player, of course, does do it. Here we can start out with a third pot range bet on 8-8-3. I know this is also not quite GTO, but it's okay. Now we can just continue betting rather small. Here we're getting 3-bet by the small blind, and we can go either way. I'm just gonna call in this case. And here we get called once again. Should I shove now with the queen of hearts to get him potentially to fold an overpair? So now this guy makes it just over half pot, so I think I have to fold my ace-5 suited. Yes, and we do get the fold here with our overbet. I think it was quite ambitious in hindsight, but I still think it's fine because we basically could have an overpair that we just jam there once he doesn't check raise us neither on the flop nor on the turn. And we can also have the flush there. So that was why I decided to jam for about 2x pot. Raising queen jack suited and the low jack. So the games are 7-handed, but there are only 6 players at this table. I have pocket queens, definitely going to 3-bet these, and here queen jack suited against a 7x 3-bet from the hijack is just a fold. And with no action with our queens. Ace-6 suited, happy to raise this one. Getting 3-bet by a short stack, so not much I can do. Also, it makes it 3.5x, definitely folding. Here we are going to go for a 3-bet with queen 10 off. And we get him to fold. That's great too. suited fold, 9 deuce suited, even though I only have to call one big blind, I do not want to do that. That's most likely would have been a wasted one. And 9-5 off, definitely also a fold. Okay, ace-8 off against the raise to 2x. Normally I like 3-betting. If I had been in the big blind, I would have 3-bet this because such a small raise on the button is usually not indicative of strength. But then again, being in the small blind with ace-8 offsuit, I just gave up there. 10 deuce off is just too bad. I'm going to fold this one. And we got ace-10 suited on the button. Definitely raising this. And here we got jack-7. So now I'm going to 3-bet the jack-7 off. Getting 3-bet by this player now. And with ace-10 suited, I am going to call. It's a decent hand to call. Flop top pair, top kicker, which is quite good. On this board, he should play a lot of checks, which he does, and we can stab, going for a third, just protection, denial of equity. If he has a hand like king queen or so, he might check raise. Oh, he calls. Pocket 6 isn't gonna fold. So I am going to go a bit bigger now, just not quite as big. Say about 20 big blinds. And he finds a fold. Okay. Didn't want to fold here. Obviously I wanted him to call with something like ace king, ace queen. So I was thinking of checking back that turn, which maybe I should have done. But just like if an overcard comes, that would just not be great. Here I'm going to c-bet big on king jack 4 with 2 diamonds. And we get it through. That is excellent. 5-6 suited in the hijack. This is the one end that I like playing, the one suited connector that I like playing from early position, because normally I avoid suited connectors, but to have a bit of a mix there, I will do that. Here, top left, jack 8, c-betting range on king 7-4. Of course, we're getting 3-bet by the button. Okay, here on the right, I'm going to c-bet this one. Here we're going to fold, and I'm not going to call now because he made it 9x, so that is fine. Here we're getting check raised, and we don't have a lot going for us, so I am going to fold this one. And up here, top left, I now have second pair. I think this, well, I could go for some value. I'm gonna go for thin value if he has a 7. Oh, I didn't realize that the 4 paired there, but oh, he had a king. Oh, anyway. Okay, so value on myself here, but that's okay. I think I expected him to bet a king on the river, so that is fine. Right, here, top right, we have top pair and a flush draw, but at the moment I think just checking and allowing someone to potentially bluff. And we're definitely going to call this. And now we have 2 pair. And so I think I'm gonna donk here. I'm gonna donk quite big, because if he has some sort of a slow played ace there. Yes, and we got it. Excellent. Okay, c-betting ace-4 on queen 7-3 out of position. Because there is a queen, I'm okay to c-bet this one. And actually I probably should have just checked because I had ace high. Made a mistake there, but that's okay. I think I didn't really look at my hand, I just looked at the board. And this player, he is quite aggressive, he knows how to play in position. He floated there on the flop and bet out now, and now I have to fold. Here on the left I am with the ace of hearts. I'm definitely going to c-bet this one. If I take it down, that would be good. Can go and overbet this one now. And we get it through. And here we're 3-betting jacks on the button, obviously. Up there, 10-9 suited in the hijack. And as I said, I don't like to play these sort of hands. They're break even. So I will just fold. Okay, jack 4 suited. We are just gonna call this time. If it checks to me, I will bet. Okay, king queen, no reason to bet on ace king 8. And now we are going to take a stab with our jack high. And again, just checking here on the right. There really isn't any reason to bet. And now on this river, we have second pair, good kicker. But the thing is, what can call us? Because an 8 beats us, and there's just, it would be too thin, especially against an aggressive player. He had pocket 4s, so I'm okay with this. Folding 8-5, queen 9 off. We can raise in the small blind versus the big blind, and we get rewarded. King jack off, also a raise. And on this board with king high, I can start with a small bet. And we get him to fold, which is excellent. Okay, king queen off. There is a raise in the, what is that, low jack. I am going to fold king queen off. I think it's a mix between fold and raise and possibly even call. But I think I just didn't want to get involved there. Even though we're on stream, and yes, I know I play quite tight, but I want to win, not to have the maximum entertainment, although I do always try to make it so you guys have some entertainment as well. Right, pocket jacks could go either way. We could 4-bet, we could call. I'm going to call them now. We have position. I flop an overpair to 7-7 deuce. He bets about half pot, which is pretty much the right size. Definitely going to continue here. The 10 is also fine. Definitely going to call another bet as well. And when he checks there, I don't think he has a big hand. So we could go for a stamp for protection, but I can also check, and on this river we have an easy call if he bets again. And if he doesn't, then we can go for value. So he doesn't. So what would ace high call here? I want to make it fairly big, but not super big. Half pot seems about right. Don't think he will really call. Yeah. Ace 9 off, low jack, folding. King 9 off against the basically min raise on the cutoff. I still think this is a fold. 5-3 off in the big blind is a fold against the button raise. Okay, we should definitely c-bet this one with our gut shot and a backdoor flush draw and an overcard. Queen's not that great, so unfortunately now I will just check, and the 4. Right, so he bets out basically half pot. Can I turn this into a bluff? I don't think I can get him to fold a king, and definitely not a queen. So I think there's not too much. That, on the other hand, no, I don't think. I think I need to fold this one even to a half pot bet. Yes, a half pot bet is probably not like super strong, but sounded to me or looked to me like he could have a king, but it could also be slow played. Well, not slow played, but just a queen that doesn't go for huge value. Okay, yeah. So once again, just apologies for the misleading title. That was a glitch. It was an honest mistake. I did not mean to do that. Oh, and here we have aces versus kings on the pre-flop all in. Always ugly for the kings to get it in against aces, but it happens quite a bit. And here we have aces versus queens on this other table. Wow. Queen 8 suited after an early position raise, simply a fold. a7 off. We are only 5-handed, but it's still a fold. It would even be a fold in the cutoff, and I believe even with the antes, it doesn't change it to a raise. 8-3 off, definitely a hand I will not raise on the button, especially not against an aggressive player in the small blind. 8-4 off, also hitting the muck. King queen off though. This will be a raise in the low jack. Queen 6 off, top left. I have to fold in the big blind, and we don't get any action with king queen, but that's fine. Okay, jack 7 off, I will raise this one. King 9 suited, I'm going to fold it, bottom right. This is a hand that in GTO it will feature as a raise, but I don't think that is good one. Right, sorry, here I am going to, no, I don't want, it's just short stack. I'm just gonna fold, even though he made it 2x on the button, but it is short stacked. So if I raise there with jack 7, it's not ideal. Yeah, so king 9 suited is one of those fringe hands that you can open pretty much in any position, but I choose not to open it in early position. Not even early, but it was what was the hijack. Okay, king queen on king 5-3. This one will be a c-bet, and I'm gonna go around half pot. Here we have pocket queens, and we can definitely raise these. Now I'm gonna overbet this one with my king queen. And the river I will just check back if I get the option to do it. Here with queens I could either check or bet big, and here we're gonna check behind and we chop with king queen. Okay. Okay, he checks there, which means now I am going to go for a big bet with our queens. Okay, here we have, this is interesting, I am going to cold 4-bet this one. Okay, so we have a straight on the board, a jack, queen jack would be the nuts, but at this point I'm just going to check. Okay, here we got called by the original raiser, and this is like really annoying now that he just shoved 3x into this, but it's yeah, it's very clever actually. Here we're just gonna check ace king, and unfortunately I have to fold my queens because at best we're chopping, so I have to call 150 to win 25. Those are not great odds, so I am going to fold. And here we have rivered the nuts. So can we go big? I think we can try to get him to call. I didn't want to jam. Okay, he folded unfortunately. And yeah, with the queens that was very unlucky there. He could have a jack, but even if he has nothing on that board, I don't want to call 150 to win 25, so that's what? That's 6 times the bet. I'm just getting such bad odds. And then sometimes I could lose the full 150 when he has it in that spot. So well played by my opponent. And that's the thing. Oh yeah, with this guy, he keeps 3-betting us. Okay, I will make a note that he is very aggro. Aggro. 3-bet a lot. Okay, 8-3 off in the big blind. Okay, now here I'm gonna fold ace deuce off. Here 8-5 suited to a 3x raise is very marginal. I'm just going to fold. I can't imagine it being very profitable. Out of position, 8-5 suited, calling a 3x raise. 8-6 or 7-5 would be a better one to call with. I need to wait for a hand against this player, Dan Tanistan. Is unfortunately to my left on 2 tables. And he keeps 3-betting me when I try to steal his blind. I haven't had a hand to play back at him yet. Queen 4 suited, Queen 5 suited in this other table. Jack 4 off. Not exactly the hands I was dreaming about this morning when I got up. But now we have King Queen off. And we have this weaker player in early position. And now this time I'm happy to 3-bet King Queen off against this player. If he 4-bets, we have an easy fold. As it stands now, we can go for a... Actually gonna size up a little bit, go almost half pot on this board. He calls quite quickly. Don't think he has ace king. He could of course have king jack. So I am gonna check back once and I will either call or go for value. So he didn't bet. I'm gonna go about 2/3. Maybe slightly bigger. And unfortunately he folds. We 3-bet queen deuce suited and we take it down. That's how we want to see it. Fold this. Now this table is running short. Might have to find a new one. Can raise, and again king 7 suited, one of those in GTO you might want to raise. Okay, now I'm starting to have enough of this player 3-betting me all the time, but I am really caught at the bottom of my range every time he 3-bets me. So there is not that much I can do. Now this guy here 3-bets us, we bet the button, he 3-bets us. I could go either way. I'm just gonna call in this case. He checks to me. I'm gonna take a small stab at it. Raising pocket jacks under the gun. Okay, we get called. On this 10, I will just check behind. Okay, ace 10 8, not exactly the flop I had hoped for with my pocket jacks. Another question is, can we ever get any value here from this player in a 3-bet pot? I don't think I want to reopen the action, so I'm just going to, yeah, ace king, just gonna check back. Okay, here with jacks definitely calling the one time. And when he checks, I have an easy check back, and he does have the ace, unfortunately. Gonna c-bet ace 10 on 997. If we get check raised, I have an easy call. But we do not get check raised, they just fold. Okay, king queen on 4-3-4 blind versus blind. Just starting with a check. He bets about half pot, that's fine. We can call here with backdoor flush draw. Now the ace. Ace is actually probably quite good for my range, because he will check back some aces. But he goes quite big again now, so I'll just fold. Yes, the ace is good for my range, but when he bets big, I'm not saying that he has it. He could definitely be messing around, but I got king high with no hope of improving. I can't even draw to top pair. Anyway, I think it's been going all right so far. Nothing too crazy has happened. I think I've made some small mistakes so far, but I'm okay. Well, we got Hungry ATM now at our table at the bottom left. He is a decent player. I've battled with him quite a bit. You see, now when I have pocket fours on the button, this is the first time that this guy doesn't 3-bet me. It's like it always is. I don't know, are these players clairvoyant? Right, ace queen off, just going to 3-bet it, even though the raise was under the gun. Okay, and now on this table I will sit out my next big blind, because I don't want to be involved in a heads-up pot, not because I don't like to play heads-up pots. Well, look at this. What's this? This is just crazy. Okay, here we're getting 4-bet, so ace queen's a fold. And this guy makes it 6 big blind, and I have 5-6 suited, which is a great hand, but if he bets so big, I'm just gonna fold. 6x, I don't think 5-6 suited even position is really worth it. Okay, now we can raise Jack 8 suited. But yeah, it's not that I don't want to play heads up, but it's just constant attention that's needed if you play heads up, and if you have three other tables, I just can't really concentrate as much as I would need to, and that's why I will have to try to find a new table. Yeah, so we're both sitting out, which is fine. I will try to find a new table as soon as this hand in the bottom right is over. Well, which is now, because they all folded. So let's see, is there any table? Sorry, our attention is needed. Fine. There doesn't seem to be one now. Here we can fold a7. Here we can raise Jack 8 offsuit. Oh, what are we back now? What's this? Can raise 9-8 off. Wait, where are we needed here? Okay, fold. 9-5 off, we can fold. A6 suited against the cutoff raise is certainly a fold. Okay, pocket fives, I'm gonna open them in the cutoff. Get called by the big blind. Can definitely start with a small bet, either for denial slash protection or for value. We are getting check raised, but that is fine. We can call with our pocket fives. He continues barreling, but he still has a lot of draws there. So I am going to call again. So now some of the draws got in there with the 7-6. And he's betting big again. So now I have to fold, unfortunately. This is very unfortunate. Queen Jack suited is one where we can get out of line a bit and 3-bet. Okay, there are new players at this table, so I am starting. Well, we're getting cold 4-bet by Hungry ATM. So it's okay, I will have to let him fold. Oh, sorry, I will have to fold. I will let him take the pot, I meant. Okay, we have an overpair, so we are gonna go. Well, no, we have to go quite small. that's fine. Taking it down. Ace 5 against the min raise. I am still going to fold this one. Yeah, so games on Coin Poker have been quite good, quite soft. Like in most of my sessions, I had one or two players who just absolutely dumped chips. Like it's crazy how what kind of mistakes they made. I saw one today, but unfortunately I couldn't get involved with him. Who was gone quicker than I could reload. And here we're 3-betting pocket jacks in the small blind versus the cutoff. And just taking it down. Yeah, so that guy, he just basically shoved with ace 8 on ace queen x with 3 spades and got stacked by a player with sorry, here I am going to squeeze my pocket 8. Yeah, he got stacked by a player who flopped the flush. Well, yeah, we take it down with our pocket 8s. We could have called behind there on the button, but I figured since there weren't any weak players behind me and there is a chance that someone might squeeze, I prefer to just take it down or just 3-bet, try to get it heads up in position with an okay hand. King 7 suited, we can just about raise this one. Not sure how profitable it really is to raise in the cutoff, but can't be bad. Okay, we flop second pair. Could go for a bet, but we can also check. This time I just want to check, and this is really not a great turn. Although I don't know how many diamonds he has, I don't know how many fours he has, but I am going to call. And he bets big now. He's basically saying he's got a 4 or diamonds. And because I didn't filter his range at all, he was in the big blind. I am going to bluff catch this one. And he did have a 4. Okay. Yeah, we could check raise, but with king 8, I'm just gonna call. Now the jack is not good for me. He keeps betting small. When he bets this small, I will just call. Should I donk this one? And I hope to get called by a weaker 8, but I think I'm just gonna check. And we win it, and we have 10-6 suited. Just gonna fold. Ten five suited. Because it's suited, we can raise in the small blind. Getting min clicked. Okay, against a min click, you have to call with a suited hand. And we flop bottom pair. I'll have to call once. I'm not going to fold there. But if he bets again, which he does, and he bets big, so I will to let it go. Ace 10 on 2 tables now. Okay, getting called by the small blind. And it is, we have bottom pair, but just checking. He bets one big blind. Okay, we shall call the one big blind. And now we river the nuts, and I just want to go quite small. But he did not fall for it. Okay, pocket deuces. Queen 9 off on the button, also a raise. Ten 8 off is definitely a fold in the big blind against the cutoff raise for 2.5x. Okay, 9 8 off would just about have been a defend, but not against 3x. And now the small blind min 3 bets. The big blind folds to the button folds to that. That is funny. Jack 6 suited on the button. We can raise this one. Can start with a small c bet. As if he missed completely, I just get to take it down for cheap. And otherwise, oh, can we wrap this? Okay, I love these diamond boards here on both. Okay, so we can fold the pocket fives. Here I'm just gonna check on this board. And here now I think, well, if he has a diamond we'll still lose. But I'm okay to just check it behind, and he did have the jack of diamonds, okay. And here I don't think I can go for value. What would call me a 6? Pocket fives? No, that's just check it down and win it at showdown. Yeah, on that four flush board there, where I could have the ace of diamond and he can't really because he would have check raised probably at some point. I could have gone for a massive overbet to try to fold out a jack of diamonds or lower, maybe. But giving up and having showdown value in the sense that if he doesn't have a diamond, we just chop, seemed like a good enough proposition. I had something similar in a live poker hand yesterday where was I had ace jack in a 3-bet pot, and on the river there were 200 in the middle, and the board was 10 10 5 5 3, and the flush had come in on the river and I had the ace of clubs there for the flush, but on a double paired board. So my opponent, who was out of position, he bet 20 into 200 on the river, and I had a decision to make whether to just call that and potentially chop, because it's like I'm getting 11 to 1 there to. So I thought if he has an ace king, ace queen, or any other ace, we would just chop. And in case he has a hand like jacks, tens, sorry, not tens, jacks, queens, or maybe even kings, then I can't get him to fold if I bet small, but I could get him to fold potentially if I shove. And I had to weigh up my options, but because the board was double paired, I thought, well, the ace of clubs is actually not that helpful. So then I decided to just call, and he had pocket queen. So I don't know if I could have gotten him to fold that with a bet of 300-ish, but maybe it would have worked. So here we had 10-9 suited in the big blind, and that's one that a lot of players miss, but that's a really nice candidate for a 3-bet bluff from the big blind, because you have to find some decent bluffs there against even early and middle position, and I think 10-9 suited, or basically any suited connector, is quite good for that. Ace 10, just about an open. Actually, I think it probably isn't even in a 7-handed game, despite the antes. And here we get 3-bet straight away, which is probably why I should stop opening Ace 10 off in a 7-handed game. Ace 3 off in a multi-way pot, not gonna call even the one big blind. Queen 7 off, I will just give this one up. Top left, I have 7-6 suited, definitely opening this one in the small blind. And this is one that I can start with a c-bet on ace deuce deuce. There are hands like queen 10 or so that will just fold. Ace 4 definitely raising. He now raises us. I'll check ace 4 here. I mean, we have 7 high, so I'm okay to fold this. Gonna check call my here. here I'm going to start with a small bet. Okay, now a backdoor flush has come in. We do have the ace. Do I want to bet? I think I'm just gonna go on a check call. I could bet small to get called by a king maybe, but also I thought he might just bet a missed flush draw, which he normally shouldn't, but I think a lot of players would do that. Okay, ace opening ace jack and getting called by two players, and on this board against two players in position I'm still gonna start with a small bet, because look at this, they both fold. Jack 4 definitely not playing. Okay, I would have defended king jack off, but now that there is a 3 bet, I have to fold. Ace 9 off, certainly worth a raise. Yeah, pocket 9's worth a raise on the button. Getting called. This is a nice flop. I am going to c-bet it because I can definitely call a check raise with a gut shot and an overpair, and also if I can fold out a hand like queen jack, jack 10, king 10, that would be a great result. And here we have aces in the big blind. Let's see if we can get any action. Yesterday I had aces 3 times in live poker and I didn't make any money with them. But fine, here we're getting min raised, so I am going to 3-bet, of course, with my aces. Let's see if we can get 4-bet. Nope. Nope, nope, nope. Would be too nice to win a big pot with aces. I haven't really had that in a while. Yesterday that was so frustrating. I had aces 3 times. The first time it folded to me in the small blind. I raised, the big blind folded. So yeah, I know in live poker that does normally happen, but it happened there, so I only took down the blinds. The second time I raised under the gun, raised it quite big to 5x, got 4 callers, and then the flop came 6 of diamonds, 7 of diamonds, 8 of diamonds, and I had 2 black aces. And the big blind just shoves for 2x pot. Now, he was a quite bluffy player, so I didn't expect him to really have a flush there, but I was next to act and I had 3 players behind me. On that terrible flop, I just folded, and then another guy called with 9-8, So all he had was top pair, and this other guy had a complete air ball who jammed there for 2x pot. So I would have won that pot, but with the action as it went, I couldn't do anything. And then the third time, I raised to 5x, got called, made a c-bet on the flop, and the player folded. And then a few minutes later, like at the typical OMC, old man coffee, he barely played a hand. I think in 45 minutes he limp folded once, and then he had aces. He 3-bet them, got called, and then he flops a set of aces. The other guy bets into him. He shoves. The other guy snap called. I mean, he's an OMC. He had not played a single hand, really, in about 45 minutes. And then he decides to 3-bet, and it's an ace-high board, and still he shoves, and he gets paid. Like, I just couldn't believe it. I could not believe that. Okay, we are getting 3-bet once again by this player, and I'm starting to feel like he is doing this quite a bit, but it's okay. Okay, we have an open-ender. We can go for the big check raise here. And he folds. Yeah, I thought with 7i on such a board, I want to go quite big to maximize fold equity. And if he calls, he might call there with a flush draw. So it might not be the end of the world. Even if he calls, we could still improve to a straight. Even though, of course, the straight might bring in the 4 flush. But we got it through. We don't have to worry about that now. Ace-6 off, raising on the button. Ace-4 off, folding in the cutoff. And we have pocket kings. Let's raise these bad boys up in the cutoff. Is the button gonna 3-bet us again? Yes, he is. Okay. Well, now I am going to go for a 4-bet. And hopefully he'll think that I've just had enough after he keeps 3-betting us. He probably has aces. Or queens. Okay, so starting with a range c-bet. Got an SPR of less than 2, so if he has queens, then good luck to him. Or 6s or 4s. I mean, this is not great either, but I'm just gonna shove now. We beat ace-queen. Maybe he'll call with the ace of hearts or jacks with a heart. He gets snapped. But yeah, he had aces. That's exactly what I said. He had aces. Amazing. This is just my luck today. This guy keeps 3-betting me, and then the one time I have kings, he just has to have aces. Yeah, I mean, there's no way to get away from kings versus aces anyway, like, especially not on such a board. So, yeah, well done. It's very frustrating. Very frustrating. How does he have aces there? And that's our profit gone for the day, but, well, if you run into aces with your kings, what can you do? Right, ace-10 off. This time I'm just going to fold it in early position. I've learned my lesson. Yeah, I could do with aces versus kings the other way. But yeah, that's the thing, like, yes, I know the profit is gone now, but it's not really a problem as such, because I know a6 suited is a call, and 4-3 suited we can call as well. When he c-bets there, I am going to just call. He bets again, and I'm just going to, oops, not all in, just 7.5. Folding here. And we get a fold, that's good. Jack-7 offsuit. King, queen off on the button. Get called. King 10 off, I'm gonna fold for a multi-way situation. You know, donks here, which is quite weird. Just gonna call. I mean, he's a reg. Like, I don't understand why he donked there. And he checks again. And the problem is, if he donked with a legitimate hand, then I can't get him to fold it anyway. So I'm just gonna check behind. And he hit queen 10. I think he must have made a mistake there. Because I can't imagine him having wanted to donk that flop there. That's just not a donk flop for a reg, so that was really weird. But we'll take it. And we have kings again. Let's see if we can avoid the aces this time. Well, we're surely getting 3-bet again. Let's see. We are going to go with a 4-bet. And he folds this time. So yeah, when they don't have aces, they fold. Oh, you have ace-king now. Yeah, this would have been quite something if he had had aces again. No action with ace-king, but that's fine. And we have kings again. Look at this. Getting spoiled for premiums now. definitely going to 3-bet them against this player who didn't start the hand with a full stack. But unfortunately, he folds. Okay, we have Queen 10 suited in the big blind at the bottom right. And we could 3-bet, we could call. We are going to 3-bet this one. Get called. Okay, so here we can start with a quarter pot bet. And we get a fold. Great. Ace Jack suited. Queen 9 off is a fold. Jack 8 suited on the button after an early position raise. I will hit the muck. Jack 3, great hand. Yeah, so after this today actually I have to play another 4 hours of live poker, and then on Monday again 4 hours, and then I'll be done with live poker for a bit, because it's been quite intense. I've had to play 4 hours almost every day for the last 3 weeks to try to qualify for a cash race tournament with a prize pool of around $45,000, which is around $60,000 or so. Raising king queen off to 6 big blinds over a limper. Getting called by the cutoff. Which is certainly not ideal. Also the small blind joins. And the original limper. And this flop is absolutely no good for me. Which means we will just check fold. And Hungry, is this guy really himself there now? What is going on? Like, he donked earlier, now he just opened jams on the flop. I mean, it's not totally ridiculous to jam for 95 when the the pot is already almost 25. And look, we got kings again. Kings again. We are going to go quite big with ace there. Here we can start out with a small bet. Yeah, a6, so there was a limper there. I'm on the button. I'm happy to go fairly big. Okay, so now we're getting check raised, and the question is whether we should just jam this one now on this wet board, because we're not gonna get away from it anyway, are we? We have the king of spades as well, so I am just gonna jam. And we run into a set of tens. That is just great. Okay, so both times today with kings we lost our big pots. We did okay actually, but we once kings into aces and then kings versus tens in the 3-bet pot where he flops a set of tens on a wet board. Oh, I accidentally clicked on the wrong. But yeah, I think so far I'm happy with how I played. It's just been very unfortunate to get stacked twice, which I think were just coolers. Now just the kings versus tens hand. Well, could I ever have gotten away there? Probably not. I'm definitely not going to fold to the check raise on the flop. And yeah, so if I call there, he could continue barreling, and I will just still get it in with kings there. Even though the question is, and that is a fair point, whether he would really do that with queens or jacks. Would he check raise and then continue barreling, or does he only have flush draws there? So I don't know, at 25 NL, maybe it is even a bit ambitious to jam there the way I did it. Yeah, but certainly an interesting one. The thing is, I just don't think players check raise enough as a bluff in 3-bet pots. Yeah, it's something I'll have to think about exploitatively, whether that shouldn't just be a fold. But okay, licking our wounds and continuing to play. Pocket eights this time on the bottom left table. Flop is ace 3 deuce. I will go for a small c bet. raised. Kind of expected that. I'm calling because I don't think he would check raise with ace. Yeah, he could have ace deuce, ace three, but and threes and deuces, but I don't think he would do it with an ace. So do I want to bet to protect? And I think my hand is actually okay. And the deuce is quite good for me there. And I think now, I mean, he could have the nine of diamonds, which would be unlucky, but yeah, he had 6-4 of clubs there. Great. So yeah, that is the Hungry ATM that I've known. Rather than the one that donked earlier and open jammed the flop. Here with 3-bet ace-10 suited. And we got it through. And here we have ace-10 offsuit on ace-10-4. That's great. Gonna c-bet it quite big, but unfortunately no action. But if he has an ace, if he has hearts, even if he has a 10, he will call there. So that's why I'm happy to c-bet this and won't try to slow play at all. Jack 9 suited, bit too early to open in the hijack. Okay, sorry, I'm being a bit quiet, but there isn't much to say at the moment. There aren't many good spots. Queen 10 off is not really the hand either to put money into the pot with when you're in early position in a 7-handed game. But pocket sevens, that's one that we can definitely raise. Here we have a limper, so I'm going to tag him as that. King 5 suited. I think that's mainly a call, but I can also 3-bet. Okay, he bets half pot. Fine, just gonna call with. Top pair, of course. Here we have a limper again with ace-6 off. Gonna go quite big. Queen jack off, raising that in the small blind. Okay, on ace king 6, I'm just gonna exploitatively go for a check. Here I'm gonna go for a big bet. Here I'm going to call the 3/4. And now he bets really, really big there. Here I'm gonna go for another bet then. And here he goes really big. I have a bluff catcher, but he's saying he has an 8 there or better, and I think I'm just gonna call, even though it's a big one. Yeah, he had nothing. And what happened here? Did we lose this one? What did he have? Oh, he had king queen. He didn't go for value with king queen. That's interesting. Well, we paid him off. Okay. Yes, I think the session has actually gone alright, except for the two coolers with aces versus kings where I had the kings, and with kings versus tens where I had the kings, but then he flopped a set of tens. So those two times when I got stacked were not great, but other than that, it's actually been alright. Here, this guy starts with a half pot donk. We have top pair, top kicker, so we're gonna call. And the other player calls as well. The 6 pairs. And we're gonna check and then go for value on the river, because I don't think we can get 3 streets of value against 2 players. But now that we have 2, well, we even have 3 pair. Don't really love the ace, but it's better than a king or a queen. And we can go for fairly big value now. Unfortunately, folds all around. Okay, we have ace king, get called. We can bet, we can check with this hand exactly. I'm just gonna check. Now he bets, and we have the king of spades, so we could raise already. I'm gonna raise to 7 big blinds and then bomb the river, but he just folds, which is fine too. Okay, jack 9 off won't be the hand to play. Seven deuce, never lose. So I've only got one table left now. The Hungry ATM is involved in a lot of pots. It's good for the rake. But yeah, if you want to come and join me, feel free to come and join me in these 25NL games on Coin Poker. They can be quite soft. As you can see now, this player just limped. I think he is the one who had the tens there. So yeah, if I had known that, maybe. I still don't know if I can ever get away with kings on 10-7-4 with two spades. This is an interesting pot now. Limp call pre-flop, and then there's a lot of money in the pot there. Or a lot of big blinds, I should say, because in monetary terms it's more like $14.51. It's an all-in and a call, and he lost with queens against 7-6 of clubs. Well, he got unlucky there. Oh, okay, that's it.